Peninsula Energy today, if you're not familiar, is a uranium developer and producer. We're advancing the world-class Lance projects in the state of Wyoming towards production. And what's so exciting about our story today is that we anticipate being in production close to the end of the year. This is a point in the life of a company that's very transformative. We're taking a project into production. We have a very capable team, and we have an exciting opportunity for investors, which I'd like to share. Because of all of the things that are happening at the site and so much activity, I do warn you that I have a tendency to make forward-looking statements. I have so much to tell you is happening. My forward-looking statements, at the best of my ability, will realize. But the Lance projects today, really what Peninsula is and presents is we're the next ASX-listed uranium company to enter into production of uranium. And we have a world-class asset in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, which is the state of Wyoming. We're on track today for commencement of production and commissioning of our processing plant in late this year, 2024. So we have a strong financial position. We're fully funded into production. We're really fully funded, we believe, with a cash balance expected to take our operations to the point of sustainable free cash flow. So, it's a good position for the company as we advance it. We have a very favorable uranium market, and I'll share with you a little bit of insight about the uranium markets today. And finally, as we progress the project into production, that's very exciting for us, but we also recognize that we have a very scalable asset that should be capable of producing uranium not just this year, next year, or the next 10 years, but long into the future because of the scale of our asset and the opportunities for exploration and additional development that we have in front of us. So our market cap today reflects a real value to the markets in comparison to our peers. The valuations that Peninsula is realizing in the market today, kind of reflect where our peers were. Our Australian peers who put their projects into production, where they were in the pre-production months, they had significant ramp-up in valuations as they approached production. We're at that stage today. We think the evaluation of our pounds in the ground, of our assets and our team, the market's not fully yet appreciated the Peninsula story. We have $100 million US of cash as of the end of the last quarter with no term debt. We're fully funded into production. This is, again, a very capable board of directors, a very capable project development and production team running this company. And we're ready to deliver product now into what is becoming a very robust North American market. I wouldn't normally spend a lot of time on macroeconomics, but being a North American CEO of an Australian company here presenting in Australia, I think it's important for you to understand that the merits and the value of what's happened in the U.S. markets. Recently, the U.S. government has banned the importation of Russian uranium into the United States. With the ban taking full effect in 2028. That uranium ban has unlocked, and this means funding was allocated for the development and support of the domestic nuclear fuel supply chain. $2.7 billion of funding was allocated, but when I say it's been unlocked, it was predicated on the fact that the ban happened, and the ban was a separate bill. Once that ban happened, this money is now going into the nuclear fuel sector, primarily towards conversion and enrichment of uranium, but importantly, the converters and enrichers of the uranium are incentivized to use domestic supply of uranium in their feed. So we are having important conversations with a rather non-traditional customer now, and that is the conversion facilities and the enrichment facilities. You think about uranium, you think about our customer base traditionally, it's utilities. Today, the most important conversations that Peninsula Energy is having is with the converters and enrichers who are going to produce fuel for the U.S. government, low-enriched uranium and high-assay low-enriched uranium HALEU. So this is a really meaningful and important development in the market and a a meaningful differentiator for Peninsula Energy, who is a ASX listed but North American based asset. International supply constraints will continue. I think everybody knows that the uranium market is fundamentally undersupplied, and it's, the growth in demand for uranium and for nuclear power is tremendous. In the next 30 years, it's not to increase nuclear power, it's not to double it's to triple it. And so the uranium markets are going to continue to grow, and the world needs more mines. So Peninsula Energy is stepping into a position where we'll be producing and supplying into a very robust market. So let me tell you about our Lance projects. We're situated in the northeast corner of the state of Wyoming. Wyoming being a Tier 1 extraction jurisdiction. We're very pleased to be working there because all of our regulators live and reside in the state of Wyoming. We don't have to go to Washington, D.C. To get permissions to do our mining. We talk to our state regulators in the state of Wyoming. That's what makes Wyoming great, is that we are a one-stop shop for the extractive industry. We produce oil, gas, coal, uranium. It's an energy center, and they really, the people of Wyoming get and appreciate the extractive industry. Our project itself encompasses almost 300 square kilometers, 37 kilometers north to south of mineral rights, about 8 kilometers wide. This is the Lance project that I'm talking about, and we've subdivided it into 3 areas. The Ross area is our initial production area. We have existing plant facilities that we're expanding there. We have well fields that have produced in the past that we're going to put back into production, and we're expanding our well field footprint at Ross. There's about 6 million pounds of uranium left to be recovered in our Ross license area. Then we'll step into the Kendrick area, which is immediately adjacent to Ross. There's about 20 million pounds of additional uranium assets there. Our 10-year mine plan is based on the Ross and the Kendrick area, but really, what Peninsula offers is the opportunity to expand our production footprint into the Barber area. There's about 32 million pounds of additional resource. That's the area you see in green, excuse me. And we think that the exploration potential at Barber and throughout the Lance projects is closer to 100 to 150 million pounds. So today we have 58 million pounds of resource identified, which makes us a very long life and the largest U.S. uranium project. The future could be just outstanding. This really can be truly a world-class, long life uranium asset that's just coming into production late in 2024. This is the resource which I was just telling you about. I'm going to go to the next slide and keep this moving. A little bit of history about the Lance projects. Peninsula, as a company, put the Lance projects into production late in 2015. This was during a different uranium market, and Peninsula was kind of late to the game in putting a project into production in the United States in 2015. The uranium markets weren't great. They built a satellite facility, which means that we could produce uranium on ion exchange resins, and we counted on someone else to toll process those loaded resins to produce the finished product, dry yellow cake. The project was idled in 2019, and now we've been carrying it forward. Our plan is to take that satellite facility to double the production capacity, so going from 1 million to 2 million pounds per year of U3O8. We're doubling the capacity, we're doing away with toll processing, and we're building the facilities ourselves so that we can produce the finished product, dry yellow cake. And this is exciting. This is what we're doing, and this is the last step for us before we go into production, is to complete the plant construction. So here you go. I mean, we're very active in plant construction right now. We have about 150 people coming to our site every day. About 50 people in the construction contracting. We have about 50 employees, and we have about 50 contract drill rig employees coming to the site developing new well fields. So we have a great deal of activity on site. Really, the site is bristling with activity. It's exciting to be there every day. We're building the facilities that we'll rely on for years to come. Not only plant facilities, but new well field facilities. An in-situ recovery project relies on having new well fields to replace the depleted and existing well fields. Again, we have 11 drill rigs, contract drillers, working at the site continuously now. We're adding additional drill rigs. This is a very important facet of preparing for production, and we have some new well field areas that will be ready for production when we start towards the end of this year when the plant is ready. But before that, we have to do pre-production activities, and that's really kind of the exciting news for the month of July, which we just released. We started preconditioning existing well fields, and preconditioning for us is lowering the pH of the groundwater solution where we do our mining, preparing it for production so that when the plant is ready, the well fields will be ready to supply uranium-rich solutions to the plant from day one. So when we start commissioning, we expect we'll have a very robust ramp up into production. We've also been testing our new processes and training our operators through pilot scale operations. In this slide, you see a picture of some samples of yellowcake that we produced through our pilot operations. You can see some of the pilot facilities that the operators have been training on. So on day one, when we start the plant, our operators are going to be very familiar with how to operate the plant. They're familiar with the chemistry, and they're going to be going very strongly. And that's important to me. As the CEO of the company, I've had experience starting up new mines. We've had novice people or operators, operating new facilities, and it's a rough go. There's only one way to do this, and it's to do it right, and that's to make sure that everybody knows their job on day one. So that's what we're doing and focused on. For us, the estimated timeline for our project is back in May. We started the construction of the new plant facilities so that we can produce dry yellowcake. We've been drilling and expanding our drilling footprint so that we can expand our development of produced and ready well fields for production. We said in the third quarter we'd start preconditioning the mine units. We did that. We started that in July. The first header house or new production area of our new mine unit 3, is scheduled to be complete here in the third quarter, and we'll start preconditioning groundwater in there so that we have some fresh ore to address when we start production. By the end of the year, we'll be sequentially commissioning the new plant circuits, putting them into production, and by the second quarter of 2025, we expect to be delivering our first loads of yellowcake to our customers in the United States utilities. By the third quarter of next year, so just a little over a year from now, we should be achieving a sustainable positive free cash flow position. Here's our production guidance. We think in 2025 now that we can produce somewhere between 700 and 900,000 pounds of uranium. In the 3-year period, 2025, 26, and 27, we're looking at about 4 million pounds of uranium production, which is really a solid production ramp-up profile for this company. Again, the plant we're building is capable of producing up to 2 million pounds a year, and we'll continue to grow the footprint, the production footprint of our project to reach 1.8 to 2 million pounds per year over the coming years. So it's an exciting time as we get going. We have uranium sales contracts. We have customers that are committed to take well over half of our annual production into contracts that are both base price escalated, profitable contracts for us, and also some contracts that have fixed price mechanisms with floors and ceilings to protect us with the floor that ensures profitability of our sales, but also to protect our customers with some ceilings. So this is our sales profile projected for our contracts over the next 10 years. That represents about 40% of the production that we anticipate over the next 10 years. And the balance of it is exposed to the market, so we have great leverage to the upward uranium market. We see great years ahead.